Welcome. My name is Christy Estes from the Public Information Team. Thank you for your interest in the I-25 North Express Lanes segments 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is the section of North I-25 from Mead to Fort Collins. In this video, we will be giving you a completed segment overview. We'll be giving you a completed segment overview, including toll lane and mobility hub commencement, a new construction overview, including scope, location, and timing, emergency services coordination, and interchange updates. We will also talk about High Plains Boulevard construction and give you the project contact information. We welcome any questions or comments and encourage you to submit those to northi25expresslanes@gmail.com. You will be hearing from Abra Geisler, our project director for segments 5 and 6, and from Ben Rolls, construction manager for segments 5 and 6. I'm going to turn it over now to Abra to get started.
Thanks, Christy. I'm the project director of these segments, like Christy said, and I'll be giving you an overview of what we've been doing. As I'm sure you've noticed, there's been some construction in the last few years, and what we're going to be doing coming up in the next few years. So we identify these work areas as segments, so you'll hear me referring to them as segments quite often. So segment 6, 7, and 8 are currently under construction. As you can see, we've put almost $1 billion into these segments, right over 900 million, for a total of just under 20 miles of improvements of adding an express lane, straightening out the horizontal and vertical geometry of the roadway for a safer and better operational movement between Fort Collins and Mead. And so what we have coming up is segment 5. We're about 50% complete with design, and we'll be doing the same type of improvements in this area as well as you've seen in segment 6, 7, and 8. It's about a 6-mile stretch. We're estimating it to be about $425 to $450 million, and we're starting construction this month. So be on the lookout for temporary construction barrier coming up pretty soon. And what we were able to accomplish in segments 6, 7, and 8, like I said, about 20 miles worth of improvements, 35 bridges that were reconstructed, which is a pretty enormous amount of bridges. We've added 2 new mobility hubs that we'll talk about a little later. We've straightened horizontal and vertical alignment to make it safer, and I'm sure you've experienced the better operations. The accident history to date shows about a 58% reduction in accidents from when we opened all of the new improvements to the previous 5 years. So definitely excited for the safer operations in the corridor. And as you can see here at Colorado 56, this was actually the most dangerous area north of Denver on I-25. You can see the horizontal and vertical big curvatures here. And what we wanted to do was just straighten that out. So you can see what we were able to do where we actually flipped Colorado 56 with the I-25 main line due to topography in the area. It just lent itself to a better and safer alignment in this area. You can also see the mobility hub that will be operational later this year, and we'll talk more about that later. At Colorado 60, this is the entrance, as you might know, into Johnstown, and also Buc-ee's has opened up. We were able to put a diverging diamond interchange in this area. If you build it, they will come, and we definitely saw that in development in this area. So we're excited that these improvements were made just in time for the increased growth in the area. And moving north towards more Fort Collins and Windsor area, this is the Kechter Road improvement. This was a really nice link that was made for the Poudre Trail system. It's not quite connected yet, so users had to cross this bridge. We were able to add bike lanes and make things a lot safer in this area. So we're really excited about the multimodal improvements that we made on the corridor as well. And here is Prospect Road that, again, we just improved from a multimodal standpoint. and added some capacity there to plan for the future growth of northern Colorado. So moving on to tolling, what the schedule looks like now is toll lanes are currently free, so please use them as much as you can. And we'll be installing the tolling equipment in summer of 2024. So we may have some intermittent tolling lane closures to add that tolling equipment in, but we wanted to get those lanes open for you all to use as quickly as possible. And then we anticipate the tolling commencement to start in fall of 2024. Please note that weaving and speed limit rules still apply during the testing phase, and they will be enforced by law enforcement. We've been getting a lot of complaints from some pretty excessive speed people that are going in the toll lanes with that are tailgating, going very fast. Please, please, please adhere to the speed limits that are posted. They're the same as the general purpose lanes. We would like to keep this corridor as safe as possible, and going over the speed limit does not help that cause. So once tolling begins, toll rates will be indicated on overhead signage, so you'll know exactly how much that tolling is. When tolling starts later this year, we'll have tolling evasion fines, which will be detected through a weaving technology and cameras. So just because you don't see a camera in sight doesn't mean that it can't spot you. It will be concurrent throughout the entire corridor, and it will catch you if you cross those double whites. So please be mindful of the double white lines. You are not allowed to cross those, and you will get fined for that. This technology has been implemented in other segments on I-25 and E-470 and elsewhere, and we've actually seen some really good positive results. About 80% of people who violated, once they've learned their lesson, we're not just joking that there is this technology out there. It does exist, and they found out through a fine in the mail. So 80% of people who violated once have not repeated. There is a 70% reduction in violations mailed out since the program started. So we're really excited about those results and keeping the corridors as safe as possible. And just as a reminder, there's a little different pavement markings than you might be used to. So we just wanted to go through an educational moment of how to use express lanes. So this picture on the left here, you can see the double white lines going into the skip lines. You are able to ingress and egress in and out of the express lane as much as you want safely in this double skip area. Once it goes to double solid, you are not allowed to maneuver in and out of those lanes any longer. What you might not be familiar with that is out on segments 6 through 8 is a single solid line with a skip line. And so just think you're not allowed to maneuver if there's a solid line closest to you. So in this case, if you're heading in this direction, you are able to, because there is a skip line closest to you, you're able to ingress into the express lane. In this situation, since there is a solid white closest to you, you are not able to make a maneuver in that specific area. You have to wait for a solid or a dash skip line to maneuver in there. So in this picture on the lower left here, you're not allowed to move into the express lane. There will be a transition where it goes from solid to skip. After that skip is present, then you may maneuver in there. And then just a reminder that you are able to use the express toll lanes for free if you have 3+ people in your car. So you're able to do that if you have the transponder and it is switched to HOV. So make sure if you're wanting to use the 3+ toll express lanes for free, then you have to get this transponder. Moving on to the mobility hubs. We've been working a lot on connecting the dots for the mobility hub network. The idea is to have these hubs every 7 to 10 miles so we can capture a good amount of people from the Front Range, but they're not making trips or making stops every mile as to make it non-efficient. So by putting these hubs every 7 to 10 miles, we're maximizing the efficiency of stops, also servicing a large amount of the Front Range corridor. So we're adding actually 4 new mobility hubs within the next few years. The first one that is getting built right now is the Centera Loveland Mobility Hub, followed by the Berthoud Mobility Hub, and then the Firestone Mobility Hub. So, and then lastly, the Broomfield Thornton Hub at Colorado 7. So the Centera and Berthoud hubs are opening fall of this year. The Longmont hub is going to be opening later. Excuse me. The Berthoud and the Loveland hubs are opening this summer. The Longmont hub is opening in the fall, and then the Broomfield hub will be opening in summer of 2026. So what these median hubs look like, which exist at both Centera Loveland and the Berthoud Mobility Hub, is we've actually situated the pickup location in the center of I-25. This really helps with the operations and the safety of the buses, and the buses will be traveling in the express lane. And instead of having to maneuver into the general purpose lanes and then on the off ramp pick people up and then maneuver back on into I-25 and over to the express lanes, instead they're able to stay in the express lanes, do one lane maneuver over into the median, get picked up, and safely pick people up in the median, and then away they go into the express lane. So a really safety and operational win in this sort of configuration and environment. People will be able to park in the parking lots that are outside of I-25 and then walk underneath I-25 in these tunnels, which will be lit. They'll have cameras, emergency telephones. They'll have future electric vehicle stations for charging. So we've really tried to keep safety at the forefront when we're designing and building these. And now I'll switch it over to Ben. He is our construction manager on segment 5, and he'll be going through all the improvements we'll be making on segment 5.
Thanks, Abra. So walking through, looking in the past at what Abra just walked through with completion of segments 6, 7, and 8 to the north of this project, we have one new section that we're beginning working on, which is noted as segment 5. And as a reminder to that exhibit that Abra had presented early on, that segment of I-25 is between Colorado 66 and Colorado 56. So it's the only area with just 2 lanes remaining. So to the south of Colorado 66, there's 3 general purpose lanes. And then to the north, from Colorado 56 to the north, there is now 2 general purpose lanes and 1 express lane. So there's an existing bottleneck condition in the northbound direction. So at Colorado 66, where I-25 drops from three lanes into 2, that's an existing bottleneck condition that we would be addressing with this segment of I-25. And then additionally, there is a climbing lane south of Colorado 56 for the southbound lanes. So it's a 2.5-mile section, almost to County Road 38. It was installed in 2017 to allow slower traffic to move to the right during that steep climb as you head south from Colorado 56. It has been noted that it's reduced crashes between 2017 and 2022 by about 51%. So a huge safety improvement by adding that additional climbing lane. So that's the existing conditions out there. So the scope of segment 5 and schedule for what we're planning or proposing on beginning here soon, it's about 6 miles as stated. So we'd be improving safety and operations through those 6 miles by straightening horizontal and vertical curves throughout this section, widening the shoulders from a 4-foot shoulder out to a 10 and 12-foot shoulder. So much safer, more sight distance. There's about 6 miles of added toll lanes in each direction with a new entrance in each direction as well. So very similar scope to what you would see up north, but just extending that same 2 general purpose plus the HOV lane down south, down to Colorado 66. Additionally, this does include reconstruction of World County Road 34 interchange. So complete new interchange, which we'll talk through here in a few slides. It includes building 8 new bridges at World County Road 38, World County Road 34 crossing, the Great Western Railroad, World County Road 38, and Valley Road crossing. So all of those would require new structures as part of this construction scope. There are no sound walls being built. The project is preserving an earthen berm between Weld County Road 36 and Weld County Road 34 on the west side of I-25 there, near Mead. So that's the base scope. That's what we will be including with the project. But we also have priority scope if funding is available, and that is to maintain the southbound climbing lane. So in addition to the 2 general purpose lanes and the managed lane, we would hope to be able to construct that climbing lane again, resulting in 3 general purpose lanes in that section, as well as a possibility of extending the toll lane south of Colorado 66 in the northbound direction, which would be better tie into the existing 3-lane configuration for better and improved safety and operations of that section. So the general project phasing is going to be very similar to variations that you've seen to the north, but we're currently under design. So design started in August of 2023 and projected to be completed in December of 2025. With that, we'll have several construction packages associated with different phases of construction. But the first construction package is 100% designed, and the rest of the corridor is about 50% designed at this point. This does also include right-of-way and utility relocations beginning in April of 2024 through approximately July of 2025. Construction for this package or this project is starting here in summer, actually this month, as Abra indicated, so May of 2024, and is anticipated through spring of 2028. For the first construction package, which is going to be the phase 1 portion, we are building the northbound inside of I-25. So as you can see in yellow there, so construction is starting in May of 2024, so this month, later this month, and that's widening the existing infrastructure into the median of northbound I-25. So that's phase 1. It's anticipated to be completed in December of this year of 2024. Phase 2, once we complete phase 1, traffic will be moved into a head-to-head configuration on the northbound barrel, and we'll begin construction of phase 2. So phase 2 is full construction of the final southbound barrel, including all the new structures. So that's scheduled from November of 2024 through December of 2025. And then traffic will be shifted onto a head-to-head configuration on that newly constructed southbound barrel, and phase 3 construction will begin. And so phase 3 is construction of all final northbound barrel, including all structures as well, from December of 2025 through the spring of 2028. There won't be a significant difference in the phasing or the packaging. So when you're driving through the corridor, you may not be able to determine what construction package is progressing because they all do work together and they overlap slightly. But that's the general phasing of how we're planning to construct the segment 5 package or corridor. So some specific highlights at the Weld County Road 34 interchange. There are 2 new roundabouts planned at this location. There's a new structure going over I-25, which will expand the existing infrastructure out to 2 12-foot lanes, a 5-foot shoulder combined bike lane, curb and gutter through here, and an 8-foot sidewalk. One thing which we'll talk through in a couple of slides further is we'll be transitioning the frontage road connections to private property and utility access. Very similar again to what was completed in segment 6, where that existing frontage road is being transitioned into a different facility. So we'll be constructing some local access roads there instead. At Weld County Road 38 interchange, again, that'd be a new structure over I-25 with an 8-foot sidewalk, and then tying into existing infrastructure as it stands right now. There is a new interchange process in place right now through the town of Mead. So they are submitting an application for a new full interchange, new access interchange at this location, which will ultimately need approval by Federal Highway Administration or FHWA and CDOT. and it will have a determination whether this has been approved or not in about 18 months or so. And so we would request if there's any specific questions about this process for the new interchange. It is being administered again through the town of Mead, and we would recommend reaching out to those representatives to get more information on that project. So we mentioned the frontage road adjacent to I-25, kind of shifting away into these utility access roads. So we refer to this as High Plains Boulevard. So it's an adjacent project. As you can see on the exhibit on the right, it's the line in blue. And for reference, the highlighted section in orange is the segment 5 I-25 project location. So this is a future item, a future project. There's certain portions of it that have already begun. But in general, frontage roads, when they were originally installed with the construction of I-25, were not designed or intended to handle the traffic volumes that we're seeing in northern Colorado as we continue to grow. And so looking at safety and accident history on those frontage roads, and specifically where they tie into the crossroads, looking at operations and development access, as well as ultimate right-of-way needs for I-25. All of that, looking at it and analyzing those different facets, made sense to look at a parallel alternative. So this parallel alternative is the High Plains Boulevard. So the vision for this road is it's a safer, more efficient north-south arterial. It's, again, parallel to I-25, roughly a half mile to the east of I-25. It varies, as you can see, as it jogs through local roads and municipality areas. It will be developer driven and local agency responsibility to own and maintain. So it is no longer a CDOT or state facility. It now will be constructed and managed through local partners. Again, those include Town of Berthoud, Johnstown, Larimer County, Loveland, Mead, and Weld County. They're all partners at various segments throughout this section of the High Plains Boulevard. And specifically, there are a few immediately adjacent to segment 5. So Weld County is constructing High Plains Boulevard from Weld County Road 32 up to Weld County Road 34. They have begun that process already. There is possible developer-driven construction to the north of that. So from Weld County Road 34 up to Weld County Road 36. Again, all of these different segments are in progress depending on developers and local projects that are happening. So you'll see over time that progression of those sections get completed for High Plains Boulevard. And I think it kind of highlights, the close proximity to I-25 and our planned reconstruction of these facilities, that we are working in close relationship with those that are working on those sections of the IPA or of the High Plains Boulevard. So that includes Weld County, Mead, and developers. And so ultimately the frontage road access, as mentioned previously, and you can see in the picture below here, at Weld County Road 34, that will be reclassified and aligned as a utility access and local property only access point. So again, if there's specific questions about the High Plains Boulevard construction, this is a joint effort, but primarily driven through your local municipalities. So if you're curious about a certain area, there are contacts for those segments, and we would recommend you reach out to those local representatives and to get more information about the construction of those portions of High Plains. So that is all we have today. I don't know if Christy, if you want to walk through the final slide here.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. We definitely encourage your questions, your comments. We will get back to you. We'll answer any questions that you have. So if you want to learn more about this project, please visit www.codot.gov/projects/north-I-25. Our email is north-I-25expresslanes@gmail.com, and our hotline number is 720-593-1996. You can also learn more about express lanes, which Abra talked quite a bit about, at www.codot.gov/programs/express lanes/express lanes. We thank you for your time, and we welcome any questions that you have, and we will get back to you. Thanks.